sing it together. Oh, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways.
Welcome to From the Heart. I'm glad you've tuned in today. I have a special guest with me. I've looked forward to interviewing him for a long time, Jim Secrest Sr. And Jim, we're going to just be talking today about the past, and I want to pin a program about your history here because you have quite a reputation as a lawyer. You've been around a long time.
Been around 57 years.
That's right. He was telling me that, and I asked him if he knew my dad. And my dad worked in the Farmers Bank, and his secretary, Carrie, worked. What's her last name? Is it Brown? Richards.
Carrie Brown Richards.
Carrie Brown's who I knew her as then. And she worked with my dad in the bank, and he always said he taught her everything she knew back then. He always liked to brag about that, but he probably did teach her a lot of things because he was really good, Jim, at the banking business. But
sure
you know,
he was.
they couldn't promote him. He would not be promoted because he wanted to stay right there at the window and
He
meet
was
people.
at the window, Mr. Patterson, all the time.
He said,
But
I don't want to be stuck in an office.
Well.
Yeah. He said, I don't want any more responsibility because he said, I want to be able, it's like you were talking about, he wanted to be able to come home. And so somewhere in here, what was it, several years after you came here that Carrie came to you? I should have asked her. We tried to get her to come with Jim.
And by the way, Francis, Carrie can tell you some interesting tales about your daddy.
Oh,
at the bank.
Sure she can. And she told me a lot of them a long time ago, and I ought to go and let her tell them to me and me write them down because I have my senior citizen moments sometimes.
Yeah.
But I remember my dad, but we're
he was
here
a great guy.
Here to talk about you. He loved people. I guess that's where I get my love of people, some of it, and like to talk to people. And I enjoy talking to people like you because you have quite a history in Scottsville. You started out next door to the old Farmers Bank, which was where Freddie Rather and his are.
But we were on the second floor.
You were on the second floor, and I believe you were in the building we own now. That was the Morgan building. Morton
building. George Morton.
George Morton. I remember vaguely him, but I loved his wife. I knew her for a long time and thought a lot of Ruth and still do.
Ruth's a great gal.
Yes, she is. And so you were up there when you got your start. What lured you to Scottsville? Do you remember?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but
that's all right. We got
I'll
time.
go slow. I initially thought I'd locate in Columbia, Kentucky. Now, I was reared in Campbellsville, and Campbellsville's about 20 miles from Columbia.
That's where my son-in-law's from.
Who's that?
Howie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went over there and talked to several of the lawyers and asked them if they didn't think they might need me. And none of them said they did. They said, no, we don't need you. But one of them, the county attorney, and he probably weighed 400 pounds. And I cannot think of his name now.
That's all right.
He's got a son that practices law in Columbia now. But he said, I know a fella in Scottsville, Kentucky, and he tells me they need a lawyer. So he told me to contact Judge Ernest Neal. And I met Judge Neal and his family, and the first time I was ever in Scottsville on Labor Day, 1954. And he encouraged me to give it a try. Well, with no funds, I didn't know whether to do it or not, but Sue and I were married, and we decided that we'd give it a shot. So
now, did you practice by yourself all along?
Practiced by myself beginning in December 1954. Then, and I can't remember just how this came about, but by June of '55, Goebel Golden and I had formed a partnership. Goebel knew the law, and I happened to be good on the typewriter. So I did the typing, and Goebel did the lawyering.
I didn't know that.
And
I guess I did a long
learned
time
a
ago.
lot from Goebel. Have the highest regard for him and think about him a lot. He had a lot of quaint.
Now, was he Ms. Turner's brother?
He was.
father?
He was a brother. Let's see, Laura Catherine's brother.
Okay, that's
and old Frank Gold's brother.
right.
And
And Siva's my neighbor.
mhm.
Siva Hancock.
Steve was his daughter. And we just had an excellent relationship until he ran for circuit judge when they established the new 49th Judicial Circuit. Allen County was in the 8th Judicial Circuit, that is with Bowling Green. But Bowling Green outgrew us, and they needed 2 or 3 judges. So they put us with Simpson County and called it the 49th Judicial Circuit, and that was in 1962. So I think he had his main office maybe in Simpson County, but he served as circuit judge until 1964 when he died suddenly. And
So did that leave you in law practice by yourself
so
then?
I was by myself, still in the Morton building. But prior to that, and how this ever came about, I'll never know. But I had indicated I might want to run for county attorney so that I could put bread on the table. But the powers that be at that time didn't think that was a good idea. So they encouraged me to run for county judge. And that was in 1957. Well, at that time, I don't think they anticipated that there would be any opposition in the primary. But there was. Mr. Broughton, W.C. Broughton, ran in that primary. And
he beat you.
by some hook or crook, I won.
You won?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And I've thought the world of that man ever since. He was a perfect candidate, didn't get mad, and later on he became county judge, and I was assistant county attorney, and we became close friends. So that'll give you a little bit of history about that. So I served the first term. I didn't mention that the general election, I was the Republican candidate, and I cannot think, Bill Calvert's daddy
Okay.
was a Democrat candidate. And I was, again, extremely fortunate and won the election. I don't know whether that was good or bad. Everybody that talked to me about it said anybody that's ever held the job of county judge has always regretted it. And I guess you'd say halfway through the term, I regretted it. And the reason, one of the main reasons was that I believe we had a major snow in about March of 1958 or 9. Anyway, the county didn't own but 1 grader and 2 trucks and 1 pickup. And nobody could get anywhere.
And
And
look who
I-
got blamed. Did you get blamed for that?
Yeah, I kind of got blamed for it, but people were awful nice because Beckham Tracy's wife,
I know who you're talking about, Miss Tracy.
they were living out there on Beckham Tracy Road at the bottom of the hill, and they couldn't get out. And I think they stayed there probably a couple of weeks. We sent the grader out, and it got stuck. And then we sent I think we rented the bulldozer, and it got stuck. So I said, if I can ever get out of this job, I will not run again. So I didn't.
I think that job can be very demanding because
Well,
you get blamed sort of when things don't go right. It's amazing though how much people love you when it's going well.
yeah, it's all right when things are going good, but at that time there was very little money, and the county was operating on a meager budget. Didn't have the occupational tax or anything like that. So it was a good experience, but I'm glad I didn't run again.
So what did you do after that?
Well, I continued practicing law, but after that I
Did you change locations in there anywhere?
moved back. Well, I still had an office in the Morton building. And then, let's see, what happened then?
Did you, at one time after that, before you moved where you are now, were you down on West Main, on East Main down there? Did you have an office
I
down
was
there?
never down there.
Where'd you go after you left the Morton building then?
When I left the Morton building, I moved into the city-county building,
Okay.
which had just been completed, and stayed there until my term was up as county attorney. But you asked what happened after Goebel got elected to the judgeship. My recollection is now, and my memory's not too good, but I believe I was appointed city attorney. And how that happened, I don't know, other than Goebel got it done because he was city attorney at the time, and I replaced him. Then served in that capacity until, well, 1957, I think, when I ran for county attorney. And somewhere in the meantime, Judge Ira Horn was city police judge. Fine old gentleman. Loved him dearly. But he died, and the city council, I guess again because of Goebel's influence, appointed me city judge. And that was quite an experience. But all those different places that I served it did me more good than it did the people I served, I'm sure, because I learned a lot.
Yeah, I started to say you had a variety of things to handle during those times.
Well, yeah, that's true. And I really wasn't wet behind the ears, and I didn't know what I was getting into when I ran, and I definitely didn't know what I was getting into when I won. But a lot of people were good to me, and I appreciated that so much, especially Herbert Moore.
Yes.
He was county clerk. Elsie Metter was what we call now PVA. He was
Property Evaluation
yeah,
Administrator.
He was a good friend of mine, and I also had a high regard for Doug Keene, who was county attorney. The other lawyers at that time were Judge Noel Harper. I thought the world of him. Frank Gold was an attorney there at that time. Now after, I think it was in about 57 or 58, then Val House Jr. Moved back here and practiced law until his death, I believe, in 1976. So that gives you a little background on it.
Well, do you remember anything funny that happened in any of those years? Anything just when you stop to think
Yeah,
about
but
those
I
years?
remember them, but I don't know whether it can be repeated here.
Oh, okay.
I've been called several things
Oh, well, we don't want to know what all you were called.
during the course of being county judge. One time it was a assembly-headed SOB. Another time it was insignificant
Well.
SOB. So that did bother me a bit. I used it to my advantage several times when people would come in the office and say, so-and-so called me a bad name and I want to sue them. And I would always repeat those stories and then conclude them by saying that Arthur Hobdy told me not to worry about it. Might not be so. So that helped a lot.
You don't like being called names, but if you can take it, that really is the Christian way to do, because he says turn the other cheek.
Turn the other
And,
cheek.
you know, if 7 times 70 is a lot of forgiving, and
It's
that's the
a
way God
lot of
forgave
it.
us. So, but, you know, it's hard to do when you're, but I know it must have been taxing to do all those things, but when did you move to where you are now, your law office? Do you remember the year you moved there?
It was 19.
Did you build that
76.
building, or was it there?
No, that building was built by Mark Carter
Okay. But
along
next to
with his
house.
home. And at that time, he built it, I think, as the office for the ASC office.
Oh, okay.
And then there were,
And you've been there ever since?
and I went in there in 1976, yeah, 76 or 77.
One of the funniest things with Jim, he learned from my father-in-law, didn't you?
Oh, I learned a
Tell
lot
him
from
what you learned.
learned a lot from Marvin Wood. Marvin kept a little notepad in his
Yeah, and his pocket always
in the
bulged
pocket,
with his stuff.
upper left-hand pocket, and he did all his business from the upper left-hand pocket. So I learned from him that that was a good thing to do, and I've been doing the same since. I remember when I first knew Marvin, his office was, I don't know how to describe it, but it's about 10 feet by 6 feet.
Yes.
And he had papers piled up.
I wish I had the picture of that. I ran across that and going through things, and it was just such a small, you could not imagine. It was smaller than a bathroom, really.
It was.
And it was just full of papers. And the amazing thing was he knew where every one of those were.
You could go in there and ask him for something, and he could go to one of those stacks and pull it out.
One of the funniest things that happened when we set about to clean, I told Marvy, I said, I've got to clean his office up. We've got to start getting some sort of order. He had all these boxes everywhere, and I had no idea what I was going to get into, but I was cleaning off his desk, and he wasn't there. So
didn't
I
like that.
cleaned his desk. Well, he didn't say anything. He was sweet to me. He didn't say anything ugly. But he came in one morning, and I was there. And I had put his medicine bottles over on Beatrice's desk. It was her, his desk was here, hers was next, and Wade Willoughby's was next. And so I put those pills over there, and in doing it, I looked at it, and the date was way back. And it was full of pills. And I thought, if Marvin takes this, they'll kill him, because it was so far back. So he came in and he said, what'd you do with my medicine? He was upset. I said, I put it over here on her desk. And I said, but it's outdated. What are you doing taking that? He said, I keep my medicine in that. That's what I put it in to take it over here. So he got his medicine back, and he ran over and took it, and he didn't say anything else. But when I got into going through all that stuff, I thought of you, and I thought, how in the world does he and Carrie, how are they able to know where everything is? Because
Well,
the floor seems to
sometimes
attract all these papers. And I tell Marvy, don't pattern after your dad or Jim.
yeah, that's right. Don't, because a lot of times I've got piles of stuff on the floor in my office, and I forget where it is, but Carrie knows.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't know what he'd do without Carrie as a secretary, because I tell you, he depends on her for telling him when he's got an appointment and what he's going to do. And you're an interesting team, I tell you. And where you're located now, you really, how many times have you remodeled it?
I remodeled it when we moved in, and Jim Jr. got out of law school, and he moved in with me, and we haven't remodeled it since because it's too much trouble to move all that stuff out and then get it back where we know.
I understand
about it.
And you know, I understand that you have to do that. I tease with Jim a lot because he and Marvin were good friends. He was Marvin's lawyer. Marvin trusted Jim. And between you and Georgetown, now here I'm having one of those moments. He just passed away, Mr. Lynch.
Yeah, Ed Lynch.
Between the two
of you, he was a CPA.
Mm-hmm. He didn't want anybody else to have to worry with his business but you too. So you were the town lawyer. When anybody thinks of Jim, they think about a man who's been respected down for many years in the law.
Well, you're very kind. I've forgotten more than I've forgotten more than I've learned.
Oh, okay.
So we have to do continuing legal education in the legal profession. But when you get to be 75 and have practiced 50 years, you are relieved of that burden. Mm-hmm. And that's when you need to go, because you can't remember what you've learned and what you've known for years.
But you're still there. Your
Still
son's
there. Still plugging along from day to day.
Would you want to retire?
Well, I'm afraid if I retire that I'll go home and drive Sue crazy. And she might drive me crazy. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't, I don't think that would work. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I wish I had, because things come up that I can't seem to solve the problem. So I think, well, I should have retired and let somebody else do it. And a lot of times I let Jim Jr. do it, but he does an altogether different practice than I do, and he keeps busy with loan closings and real estate matters. And I keep busy now mostly with estates and real estate matters. But I've quit doing any criminal defense. I've quit doing any domestic work, other than maybe an agreed divorce from time to time. And I got to mention this. You asked me about Carrie, and when I started out, like I mentioned, I was the secretary and Goebel Gold was the lawyer. Uh-huh. And then Goebel and I hired Jane Profit. Mm-hmm. And she served as our secretary until she married Jimmy Gooden. And I thought when Jane left that the world would come to an end, because she was smart and she could type well, take dictation. So then after Jane came Marge Tao.
I remember that one.
Marge Tao.
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. I do remember, yes.
Marge was
Oh, it's okay.
Roy Tao's daughter-in-law.
So was she there very long?
She wasn't there long. And then along comes Carrie B. She came in 1969.
Now, how did you get her away from the Farmers Bank? Was my dad still there then?
I don't know whether Mr. Patterson was there.
Yeah, he was there. What did you say?
69?
No, He wasn't there then.
I don't know
You
that.
told me Mr. Gillum didn't like you much for taking
Yeah,
her.
C.A. Gillum was president of the Farmers National Bank, and Carrie was his right-hand person. But they were working 5.5 days a week, and she wanted off on Saturday because she was, I think, her first child. I don't know how old he was.
So she ended up staying with you all these years. And
I don't know how she's been able to put up with me all these years, but thank God she has.
Daddy used to say he trained her well. He really loved Carrie. He said she's gonna go somewhere. He knew she was smart.
Well, he trained her well, and she is very intelligent.
What'd you do? Just ask her to come to you?
Yeah, I asked her to come to work, but I couldn't pay her what the bank was paying.
What did Mr. Gillum say?
Well, Mr. Gillum didn't like it at all, and he
Was he your friend
he
after
was
that?
my friend, but he always had a chip on his shoulder, I think.
We're going to come back and talk to you next time. We're going to run out of time here in a minute, but Mr. Gillum did a thing for me that on the next program I want to tell you about, because, of course, my dad worked under him for all of his life. In my lifetime, he worked there, got his 50-year thing, and then when the bank was going to move, he would go up there all the time. He just didn't want to be away from the bank, even though he was supposedly retired. So tune in again next time as we sit here and chat about things that have happened with Jim during his time as a lawyer in Scottsville. We love him and appreciate him being on.
Thank you, Francis. Appreciate being here. You're very kind.
Well, thank you.
God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. Let's sing it together.